and welcome back to the Scrollhead YouTube channel, and this is the very first Premier League preview of the season. Completely forgot to do Manchester United versus Leicester last night, so I'll cover that one just a little bit as well. What I'm going to aim to do this season is to do a Premier League sort of preview for all of the games, which will include the Liverpool ones as well. Now, if I feel that there's going to need to be a bit more analysis for a Liverpool game coming up or something like that, then yeah, I'm totally probably going to do a separate video because that's my team. That's my team, guys. So, we're going to do a Premier League preview though. I'm basically going to try and spend, no more than a minute just talking about the games that are coming up and maybe give a bit of a prediction as well. Now, Manchester United versus Leicester kicked off the Premier League season last night, and it finished 2-1 to Manchester United with, I think, was it Jamie Vardy scored a 92nd minute goal, something like that. Pogba got them off the mark with a penalty, and Luke Shaw scored a pretty good goal, actually, for a lad who's been getting slated quite a lot, even by, his own fans. In my mind, I was thinking it was going to be a 2-2, and to be fair, it was close. It was close. I think if Claude Puel had made that change of bringing Vardy on earlier, there could have been some serious trouble there for Man United, or it could have been the draw. It could have been a draw at least. But they've come off with a victory, and they will probably be buzzing from that one, I imagine. So, let's get into previewing the rest of the Premier League. Also, if you like the sound of this type of video, please do like it and get some suggestions in the comments box below. If you watch this video and you think that I'm missing something out, or there's something that you want me to talk about in these videos, let me know it in the comments below. And today, first of all, we're going to be looking at Newcastle versus Tottenham. Now, Tottenham, we don't really need to go into the team a great deal because it's exactly the same as it was last year. The only thing with Tottenham this year is going to be how many of their World Cup stars are going to be starting in this game. Now, we've seen Manchester United throw a little bit of a curveball last night, starting Pogba, bringing on Lukaku. They had some of their big players were ready to go. Rashford as well was ready to go. They had Martial on the bench. All right, he didn't go to the World Cup, but even so, we've seen that, maybe Mourinho was playing a little bit of mind games in that game. Now, could Tottenham do something similar? I'm not entirely sure because they had a lot of players at the World Cup. They had loads of players, and they only got most of their first team, like 9 players or something like that, came back last week. Look, things can happen, and you might need them to come in because they've made no signings. Newcastle, on the other hand, though, they've let a few players go. They haven't necessarily brought in players that are of equal quality or experience to the ones that they've let go. Like someone like Mitrovic, who was scoring goals for fun for Fulham last season. They've let him go for 20 million. They brought in, Muto. Again, not slating the players that they brought in, but they haven't necessarily brought in players that you think, are they going to make an impact? They've let Dwight Gale go as well, which I think that lad just can't catch a break. He couldn't make it at Crystal Palace. Now he's not being allowed to make it at Newcastle. Are Tottenham going to be able to come out firing? Are they going to have their big stars, Harry Kane, everybody like that? Alderweireld, are they going to have all of these players, these solid players that they need? Are Newcastle going to be able to piece something together and actually go forward and do something in this game? I think that it's tough to call, it really is. And I'm going to go with the fact that I think that Tottenham will have star players missing in this game. And I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw between these two. Let me know if you agree or if you disagree. Next up, we come to Bournemouth versus Cardiff, two of my favourites to go down this season. Two teams that haven't recruited very well, in my opinion, in the transfer window, and I think they kind of missed a trick here. Both teams, obviously Cardiff coming up and Bournemouth staying in the Premier League. Bournemouth they've recruited players, they both have recruited players, but I don't think they've recruited enough players with enough quality to actually make an impact on this league. Now, the fact that they're starting the league this season facing each other, yeah, I think that maybe Bournemouth are going to win this game. I do. Bournemouth are probably going to win this game based on their experience in the Premier League, the fact that they play really good football, generally. They've got a good manager and a tactician in Eddie Howe, and I think he's going to be able to get the results he needs against these teams that are going to be in and around them. Cardiff, I don't think are going to be able to make that sort of difference. I don't think they're going to be able to come into this league and make a big impact. So I'm going for Bournemouth, and I'm going for a 3-1 victory to Bournemouth. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Next up, we've got Fulham versus Crystal Palace. And I think Fulham, they've recruited very well, and they've kept their very good player in Ryan Sessegnon as well. They've kept most of their players they've brought in on a permanent. Mitrovic, they brought him in. They've managed to get the best out of him. They brought out something in Mitrovic that Newcastle just couldn't do. Crystal Palace, Max Meyer, he's a 22-year-old German. He was out of contract from Schalke, and talented young guy, and they're obviously maybe going to be looking for him to replace Cabaye. I think this could be a close game, but I think Fulham are going to take it to Crystal Palace, and I think Fulham are going to come out of this game 2-0 victors. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Next up, we've got Huddersfield versus Chelsea. Huddersfield staying in the Premier League last season, and Chelsea, well, they finished out of the top 4 and they've got rid of their manager. They've got a brand new manager in Sarri, and everybody is looking forward to seeing Sarri ball, which I'm hoping it doesn't end up being something like what Wenger ball turned into, which was just possession for possession's sake. If they can get that style of play flowing in that team pretty quickly, that could be good, and it would be good for the Premier League, the entertainment level of the Premier League. Depending on how well gelled everybody is at Chelsea, or how maybe they're not very gelled, Huddersfield could really make an impact in this game, and it makes it really difficult to predict. But for me, on pure quality levels, I'm going to have to go for the Chelsea win, but I think it'll be close. I think it'll be closer than people think. I think it'll be a 2-1 victory for Chelsea. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Next up, we've got Watford versus Brighton, and this could be a good game. It could be an entertaining game. It could also be a boring game as well. Brighton have got the ability with their players to go out and attack anybody. Watford, on the other hand, I don't know how well they've recruited, I'll be honest with you. It's not a team I've looked at greatly over the summer. I don't know. I think Brighton might have this one, to be honest. I don't know whether Watford have the, and they've lost Richarlison to Everton, who was he was a bright talent. I think with the ageing squad that Watford have, I think when you look at like Troy Deeney up front, is he still going to be able to make that impact he had when Watford first came? I'm going to go with Brighton for this one. I think it's going to be 1-0. Let me know if you agree or disagree. And the interesting game of Saturday today, Wolves versus Everton. This is going to be really, really interesting. Everton have made a plethora of signings, especially on the final day of the transfer window, with a manager like, what's his name? Marco Silva. With a manager like that who is very tactically good, and he is, I think in this sort of team, this sort of setup, he could actually make an impact here. He's managed to keep hold of Pickford, warded off Chelsea's interest as well, that was apparent there. Wolves, on the other hand, smashed the Championship to bits last year, came into this season for the Premier League very, very well prepared. More prepared than some Premier League clubs. They've spent money, they've brought in a lot of players, some quality players. I just think that this could be a really interesting game. I think it's going to be an attacking game, and I think, to be fair to both teams, I'm going to have to go for a 2-2 draw because I cannot pick between them. Now we're moving on to Southampton versus Burnley. Two teams that could struggle this season. Now, I thought that Southampton were going to be in some dire straits this season until they signed Danny Ings. He was very unfortunate with Liverpool in the injuries that he suffered. He's still got a good amount of pace. He's an aggressive player. He's very tenacious, and he can score goals when he's given the opportunity. They were very weak last season, especially more so when we bought Van Dijk. They were weak in that area. Creatively, they suffered, and then they've let Tadic go this season as well, who was probably their most creative player in a not very creative team. Burnley had a great season last season. Everybody was championing for them to finish higher up that table as long as they weren't above their team. Have they recruited well this season? Not entirely sure. Joe Hart in goal has had to be brought in because their two other leading goalkeepers are injured. Burnley were brilliant last season. They just struggled a little bit to score goals. Now, if they can keep that defence and that goalkeeping quality, which is a little bit questionable with Joe Hart at the moment, but you never know, he could turn it round and have a blinder of a season. You can't write anything off in the Premier League. If they can keep defensively solid and maybe create a little bit more, or even just keep that threat that they had where they would score maybe 1 or 2 goals, then yeah, I think that they're going to take this game. And that's what I'm going to go with. I think that they are going to take this game to Southampton, and I think Burnley are going to come out of this game 1-0 victors. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Next up is my team, Liverpool versus West Ham. Liverpool are back at Anfield, and we're facing West Ham. Now, we're going to talk about West Ham first, because obviously this is my channel. I've talked about Liverpool a hell of a lot this year already. So let's talk about West Ham. West Ham, brand new manager, shipped out some players, and they brought in a lot of players as well, some talented players as well. They already had Arnautovic, Javier Hernandez. Now they've got the likes of Yarmolenko. I'm literally trying to remember their signings. Brought in Fredericks from Fulham as well. Jack Wilshere. That's who they brought in. Jack Wilshere from Arsenal. And I'm missing a load of players there. They brought in quite a lot. and I'm missing quite a few there. They've got a good manager who likes attacking football. Now that could both be a positive for West Ham, but could also play into the hands of a team like Liverpool. Now Liverpool, we've had the better of West Ham over the last couple of games at least. I don't think it's been since the Payet season, since they beat us like 3 times in a season. They believe in Pellegrini, they believe in his style, his the way he wants to play and everything like that as well. And I think they're gonna try and come out and they're gonna try and attack us, and that is totally fine for me, because we've seen from a Liverpool perspective of what happens when teams do attack us. It's very, very rare that we are on the bad side of it. Now, we have recruited very well this season. What we did is we supplemented what we needed. We filled the gaps in what we needed. All right, people might say that there's still a gap at centre-back, and I would agree. We are only a Van Dijk injury away from being a Matip and Klavan partnership. I actually think we'll be starting with Salah, Mane and Sturridge, and I think Firmino will come on second half, just because of his return to pre-season was only like a week or 2 ago. So I think Sturridge will get the nod on this one because he's had an amazing pre-season as well. So yeah, this is going to be no, it's not. I don't think it's going to be as tight as it could be. I think that West Ham will score goals in this one, but I think they'll score a goal, but I think we'll come out at the end of this one and I think we will win this game 3-1. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And the very final game of the first Premier League weekend of the 2018-19 season is Arsenal versus Manchester City. Now, it goes without saying, Arsenal are going to threaten in an attacking sense much more this season. They've got good attacking players, there is no doubt. They've got good attacking players, they've got some good midfielders. It's defence where people will question. Are they going to be able to keep up with the Premier League? Are they going to be able to keep up with Sterling? Are they going to keep up with Aguero, Jesus, Leroy Sané? Are they going to be able to keep out Kevin De Bruyne? I don't see it, no. It's difficult to see an Arsenal win over Manchester City, because in every single department, as good as Arsenal are now, they're in a position where they are good. They've got a brand new manager, new tactics, a different way of playing. But for me, player for player, Man City are better. They are. That is just how it is. Yeah, they might have a brand new goalkeeper, but I think Petr Cech will still be the #1 goalkeeper. And I don't know, people saying, oh, he's saving penalties in pre-season. Doesn't really matter to me, honestly. I just don't think that defence, I could be totally wrong, I just don't think that defence is going to hold up well against Manchester City, and I can only see a Man City win. I think that Arsenal will score, but I think it's going to be a 4-2 victory to Man City. I do. I think Man City are going to pick up where they left off, and they're going to start trying to run away with it in the very first weekend. And that wraps up the Premier League preview for this weekend. So let me know what you think. I'm going to try and make it a little bit shorter, a little bit snappier next week, because I know that this video has gone on a little bit longer than I wanted to. But if you have enjoyed it, please do let me know it in the comments below. Like the video, get some suggestions in, things that you might want me to talk about, things you don't want me to talk about. Absolutely fine, I'll listen to every single one of them. Thank you so much for watching. As always, please do subscribe if you are new around here and hit that notification bell. You'll get notified of all the videos that I make. Thank you so much for watching, as always, and I will catch you later.